The Kremlin just announced that Ukraine tried to assassinate Vladimir Putin. They claimed a massive swarm of drones targeted his private residence, and they're using this attack to tell the world that Ukraine does not want to negotiate peace. There's one massive problem with this story though. The attack never actually happened. In fact, the Kremlin's own military reports from last night completely contradict what the Kremlin is claiming. And the people living right next door to Putin's residence, well, they have a different story as to what happened that night. It looks like Putin just staged an assassination attempt to sabotage the peace deal, and we have the proof to expose that lie. So let's dig into it. Now, just a little bit of context. President Zelensky and President Trump met on Sunday in Florida to basically discuss the new peace deal. Then on Monday, President Trump called Putin to update him as to how the peace negotiations are going, what Ukraine is demanding, and what they are not okay with. Well, in this meeting, Russia tells the United States that Ukraine just tried assassinating Putin. And right after the meeting, we had a press conference from Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, who said this about the attack. Take a listen.
On the night of December 28th to 29th of 2025, the Kyiv regime carried out a terrorist attack using 91 long-range strike drones against the state residence of the Russian president in Novgorod region. All drones were destroyed by the air defense means of the Russian armed forces. No information has been received regarding casualties or damage caused by drone debris. We draw attention to the fact that this action was carried out during intensive negotiations between Russia and the United States on the settlement of the Ukrainian conflict. Such reckless actions will not go unanswered. The targets for retaliatory strikes and the timing of their execution by the Russian armed forces have been determined. At the same time, we do not intend to withdraw from the negotiation process with the U.S. However, in view of the final transformation of the criminal Kyiv regime, which has shifted to a policy of state terrorism, Russia's negotiating position will be revised.
Now, according to a separate Russian statement, it seems that Putin himself told Trump that Ukraine was trying to assassinate him by attacking his residence just hours after the US-Ukraine negotiations finished on Sunday. Putin claimed that Ukraine doesn't really want a peace deal, and that's why they're trying to escalate the war by going after him. Well, President Trump was asked about his reaction to the whole news and what Russia told him, and this is what he said to the press. Take a listen.
You know who told me about it? President Putin told me about it. Early in the morning, he said he was attacked. That's no good.
Are you worried that the alleged strike on Putin's residence could scuttle the peace?
Yeah, I don't like it. It's not good. I heard about it this morning. It's no good. Don't forget, the Tomahawks. I stopped the Tomahawks. I didn't want that. Because we're talking about, it's a delicate period of time. This is not the right time. It's one thing to be offensive, because they were offensive. It's another thing to attack his house. It's not the right time to do any of that, and can't do it. And I learned about it from President Putin today. I was very angry about it. What?
U.S. intelligence services that monitor that region very closely. Is there any evidence?
Well, it came out. Well, we'll find out. I mean, you're saying maybe the attack didn't take place. It's possible too, I guess. But President Putin told me this morning it did.
Now, talking about this story, Russia didn't really share any evidence as to if this actually happened. In fact, all the evidence that we do have actually points towards the fact that this attack never actually took place. And this evidence is not coming from like NATO or Western countries. This is coming from the Russian military itself. So let's look at what this report is. And before that, I just want to remind you guys that Lavrov claimed that Ukraine fired 91 drones at Putin's residence. Well, luckily, the security forces were able to take down all the drones. But that's still a number you guys need to keep in mind because it's an important one, 91 drones. Let's take a look at this report from the Russian Defense Ministry. So this is a report that the Defense Ministry puts out every single night, basically giving the public an update as to how many drones Ukraine fired and how many drones Russia took down, okay? They put it out every single night and it tells us. Now, according to this report, the Russian Defense Ministry claims that they took down only 89 drones all across Russia, not just in one city, but across the whole country. Now, if we look deeper into this report, it tells us about the region where Putin's residence is located. That's the Novgorod region. And in the second line, you can see that according to the Russian Defense Ministry, they only took down 18 drones in that region. But according to the Kremlin, Ukraine fired 91 drones and the security forces were able to take down all of them. The math here is just not mathing. 91 drones is not the same as 18 drones. So two people are giving completely different numbers. But unfortunately for Putin, this is not the only thing that's not lining up in his story. Because now we also have statements from residents, basically people who live near this area where Putin's residence is located. And they have no clue of any large-scale attack that took place. Take a look at this report. Residents in Valday, Novgorod region, northeast of Russia, located close to Putin's residence, did not hear drones or explosions in recent nights. This kinda confirms that Ukrainian attack on Putin's residence never actually took place. This kinda confirms that Ukrainian attack that Kremlin claims happened never actually happened. Residents of the area say that they noticed no attack at all despite the claims from the authorities. And on top of this, Russia has this system where the residents of the area where the drones are heading get notified ahead of time. You know, it's like those Apple warnings we get on our phones here. Well, it's like that, but they get like text messages and telegram messages telling them, hey, there's an aerial attack coming near your house, so hide, get away from the windows, go into the basement. You know, basically like that. Well, according to the residents, they never got a warning like that on the night that Kremlin claims this attack happened. And usually, the warnings happen all the time whenever drones are actually coming in. And on top of that, no one heard any buzzing sound of drones in the air. No one heard any explosions. You know, Russia claims they took down almost 100 drones. So there would be explosions in the sky that the residents would be able to hear. No one heard anything. And these residents also said that they don't know anyone in the area who heard anything like that. In reality, the city just slept through the night, and then in the morning, Moscow reported there was a massive drone assault. So after all this came out, the Kremlin was asked about it. You know, they were asked if the Kremlin has any evidence to show there was an attack on Putin's residence. Well, I hope you guys are a fan of comedy because their answer was just pure comical. Take a listen yourself.
Could you tell us whether there is, so to speak, any tangible evidence of this attempted attack on the presidential residence and whether Russia intends to present it? For example, debris from drones that were shot down.
I don't think any evidence is required here if such a massive drone attack was carried out, and thanks to the well-coordinated work of air defense, the drones were shot down and neutralized. As for debris, I can't comment on that. This is, naturally, a matter for our military. We see that Zelensky is trying to deny it, and many Western media outlets playing along with the Kyiv regime are beginning to push the narrative that this supposedly never happened. But that is an absolutely absurd claim.
Now, this is where I'm sure some of you guys are asking the one main question. Why is Russia doing this? Why are they doing it now? Is there a motive that we can figure out as to tell us what their goal is? Well, there is. In fact, there are many different motives. So let's look at the most obvious one. As Russia put out this fake statement about the attack, they also said that they will toughen their negotiating stance with Ukraine. Now, in reality, Russia hasn't really been negotiating with Ukraine. Russia has been negotiating with the United States, and Putin is too scared to meet with Zelensky. And that's why he wants the US to force a surrender on Ukraine. Well, this has been part of the Russian scheme for all this time, right? They asked for unreasonable demands, and when then Ukraine says, we're not going to agree to it, we're not going to give up our territory, we're not going to give up on our sovereignty, Russia says, hey, look, Ukraine is the one that's unwilling to negotiate. When in reality, Russia doesn't want to negotiate. Russia wants Ukraine to surrender. Putin wants capitulation. Well, that's exactly what's happening. They created this fake story about the attack, and now they're saying they don't want to provide evidence, they don't want to negotiate fairly, they want Ukraine to surrender. And on top of this, I'm sure Russia is going to use this fake story as a justification for more and more attacks on Ukrainian citizens. They have already been attacking Ukrainian apartment buildings, they have already been attacking Ukrainian schools, but I'm guessing now they're going to do it at a much larger scale, and they don't want the world to turn against them, so they created this attack story as a fake justification. In fact, we have Russian media personalities, Russian propagandists, already talking about carrying out mass genocide against Ukrainians because of this attack. Take a listen. This happened legit like last night. So while there was night in the United States, Russia was talking about this because it was morning their time.
One must understand that this attempt was directed not only at the elimination of our president, our supreme commander-in-chief. The calculation was simple. Having destroyed Putin, we would be searching for a figure to replace him. This means time. This is a disruption of all negotiations. This is a halt to the pace of the offensive, ultimately forcing us into a shameful defeat. What must we do? We must do just like Netanyahu. Use everything. If Oreshnik is needed, use Oreshnik. If Poseidon needs to be used, it makes no difference who supplied weapons to these freaks, these scumbags. Britain, Germany, it makes no difference who. This is a direct war, and for it, they must answer.
Luckily, we still have some officials here in the United States that are not buying the Russian story. Here we have NATO Ambassador Matthew Whitaker, who recently said in an interview that the US is going to depend on its own intelligence services to figure out if this was a real attack or just a made-up story. Take a listen.
So, Ukraine denying this attack ever happened. What do we know, Ambassador?
Well, I know that there are reports from the Russian side that this alleged attack at one of the presidential palaces by drone or drones, it is unclear whether it actually happened. You know, Ukraine is receiving drones and missiles every single night into their capital city, and you know all they can do is fight back. And you know, seems to me a little indelicate to be this close in a peace deal. Ukraine really wanting to get a peace deal done, and then to do something that would be viewed as reckless or not helpful. So we're going to get to the bottom of the intelligence, and for me, the most important thing is what the United States and our allies' intelligence services say about whether or not this attack actually happened.
Very good. We'll have to.
One of the problems with making videos like these, where we show a lot of drone strikes, even if no human or Russian soldiers are getting hurt in the video, YouTube usually demonetizes or restricts our videos. In fact, in the last week, we had 4 of our videos get demonetized. According to YouTube, showing drone strikes or even footage from the front lines is not advertiser friendly, and that's why the videos are restricted. But this is the reality of modern warfare, and this is the war Ukrainians are fighting and trying to survive. So we believe it's important to cover this all, and that's why we launched our own platform, Basics Insider. We built it from scratch, so we don't have any restrictions. We don't have to blur our drone strike, we don't have to blur frontline footage, and we don't have to blur Russian air bases getting destroyed. On top of this, we actually don't run any ads on the site. That way, we don't have to censor ourselves just because advertisers are not happy about what we are covering. We don't fund the site through ads, we fund it through your support. So if you're someone who's interested in coverage like this and you want to watch our videos uncensored and get bonus content that we just cannot upload here on YouTube, then definitely go join us at basicsinsider.com. You can also click the link in the description or scan the QR code on your screen. By joining, you can watch all the content that we have already uploaded and all the videos we will upload in the future. On top of that, you'll be supporting our coverage and supporting our channel. So thank you so much. My name is Sam, and I'll see you guys in the next one.